God bless everybody today. It's May 24th of 2021. It's 7:09 a.m. in the morning. We've had a massive sell-off in the crypto market, cryptocurrency markets, and we're going to talk about how Bitcoin can affect the markets in the next week or two as we move forward. You can always find all my articles on my eschatology page at End of Days Survival at endofdayssurvival.com. It has all my timelines, flow charts. These are PDFs. Everything out here is free, so you can go out and just look at it. I posted my articles on the crashes. It has my videos. Just basically everything out here. My paradigms, different things like that. But right now, we're concerned about the Bitcoin potential crash and how it's going to affect the markets. And let's get started in on that. So we've been talking about Bitcoin and how we have this massive trench. It's falling down. It's trying to fix itself. The markets have come back a little, not a lot. This is still a very threatening chart. It may look like it's coming back, but until this moves up, and see, it's starting to turn, but yet it's still under this main line, and until it comes way up and lifts this top line up to about parallel or horizontal to here, which is about 57.5 or around in here, we will not see a turnaround here. So this has got a ways to go. I mean, we're still 20,000 points off some of these highs, and so that's a problem. And you can see that all the trends are still down. So is this improving? Not really. Now it has to break out of here and push through here and then keep pushing through all these resistances all the way back up to here and then move up. That is a really hard road for this. And again, I believe you can see this on Doge because Doge is basically the same chart. So if you go to Doge's chart, we can see basically the same effect. It's a pretty steep downward trough. For this angle of inflection to come back, move up, and then get back over here, and then it's got to turn around. It's like an airplane. It's going to try to land here somewhere before it hits this bottom layer and then come back up so that it can hit some of these all-time highs. As it moved up over in here, it was hitting all-time highs, and so we're looking for a similar process as we move up, and then it will start to build this new layering of resistance out here as we move forward, and then it will make the stock extremely resilient because now it will build up a new interference line here, and then it won't be as easy for it to come down again because it has this memory built in as we move forward. So if it doesn't move up and start to correct, and the markets always sell off on a Monday, and we've had a bad Monday. Futures are up right now, but the markets are going to open in about an hour and 15 minutes, and that could change rapidly as the markets do open. So we need to watch this. Could it turn around? Yes, it could. Is it showing potential for turnaround? Not really yet. The trajectory is basically still down. One bit of bad news, market open in the United States, and this doesn't really improve. This could still be a major event as we move into next weekend and Memorial Day weekend, and you have a weekend close of the markets on Monday to potentially open up with this being either up or even further down this hole than we are. And now it could improve itself, it could move up and hit this next resistance zone. If you go from the top high to the top high, you draw a line, and you go from the lowest low, and these are far out shots. This is from the beginning of the stock all the way out, okay? And then you're taking the top of the top to the top of the top and drawing down. And so you can see these zones of resistance and what it has to do to get through these levels. This is a tough one because it's going to start punching through resistances to try to get back up and over and to at least the 50s, and then it will start to recorrect into positive territory. But right now, this is 30 point, 20 points minimum below, in Doge, it's 20 points below minimum. And, in Bitcoin, we're, 13,000 to 15,000 below where we should be here. So I'm not seeing a massive improvement. It may look like, because these numbers are improving, we went from dump to 31.29, down in here at one time, 29.8, to 37. You think, wow, that's a huge improvement. You are a long way from correction here. So the question is it going to correct, or is it going to keep trenching down? Now, let's say if you go back to Doge, it could come up and it could hit this next resistance line, and then it could start to fall back down. And so that's what I mean by this could expand out to a longer time frame, because normally this would be your boundary here. And so if you draw this in and you get down to 8 cents, like I was talking to you about, which it could go lower. I mean, this could really bottom out. 8 cents is my bottom until it gets really, really ugly. And that's when it goes close to zero, or 0.00 something, okay? And this could happen. I saw a Musk tweet. It wasn't a tweet, it was a video, and I can't find it again. Musk was talking to a reporter. He was sort of sideways. It was in the daytime. He was talking to a reporter. I'm trying to find this video. If you guys have seen this video, please let me know so I can post it. He was talking about the people's currency, the cryptocurrency Doge. And he turned to the camera. I can see it as clear as in my mind as if it happened in front of me, but I can't seem to find the video anymore. He clearly turned right to the camera like he was talking to the population, to you, and says, you know what? I would love to see this cryptocurrency get to 0.001% so that all people would have the opportunity to buy back into this currency. And that way they could transfer the wealth from the whales, which have sold off up here. All this carnage that's happening as this thing moves down, it finally hits bottom, that you could buy at the level you could back here. Okay? For him to manipulate this system to come down all the way back to potentially 0.001. I mean, this is incredibly insane to think that we would get back to a level anywhere down in here before this would come back, would decimate the normal markets as well as the crypto markets. It would reconstitute Bitcoin, because it's going to just have devastating effect on Bitcoin and the other currencies, and then they would regurgitate and almost like rise like a phoenix from the ashes. I mean, it really is basically what's happening here. Will this happen? Will it go that far? I don't know. It's a potential, and this is what I'm saying is you can't, well, I know what's coming. No, I don't. I don't know what's coming. I can't even imagine where this might end up. I can tell you the parameters or the outer limits of what it could do and in the time frames that it might. And so if you look at just Doge itself, and like I say, Doge is similar to Bitcoin. So if your trajectory was 8 cents back here, find 8 cents, it should be right about in here. Then you're talking May 31st. And see, we're still in this May 30th, 31st weekend. The blood, there's a blood moon major event, super moon major event on that weekend. And then you walk into June and potentially a nightmare as we get into the Daniel 8 effect. If this moves out to this next barrier or a interior barrier that it will create, because it will create new troughs as it moves out to this level here, then it still could potentially have issues. Now, notice there's two main barriers under here, so it's got to break through these bottom levels. If it comes down this trench, or if it comes down here, or if it comes down here, or if it comes down here, it's got to go through some resistances. If it goes up, it also has some resistances. Okay, so it's walking into this apex right now. See, as it comes down, it's going to want to come up, and then it's going to want to come down. It's going to end up probably in this apex because these pressures on both sides, the top and the bottom, are forcing this thing to move down into this hole. Unless it takes a major turn up, and it could, this resistance line could change and adjust down because the top's moving this way, and so this line's going to adjust over, and we're going to watch it it's probably going to come up and it's going to hit this wall here and then come down, or it could come down just due to its pressure from this wall, or it could pop back up. So we would love to see it come down and make some money down here, but for the health of the market, and actually that would be healthy if it would fill all this space in. But if it goes back up, then it will recorrect itself above 50, and then we might see an uptrend. But it's got a huge haul to get back to this level. That's 20 some points above, almost 20 some points above where it is, 15 to 20. So I don't see any real major improvements. Are we getting superficial improvements? Yes. We've gone from, a potential of 21 to 33 cents in Doge. And we've gone from potentially 29.8 or just below 30,000 to 37. These seem like large major transitions, but if you consider a 7-point gap out of 37 to 40 points, in this area here, that's really not a huge, it's 5 to 7% increase. That's not a major factor until this turns around. I don't see, and it could, the hope is it does turn around, because we don't want to see doom, gloom, and devastation. But I am not seeing massive improvement as we move into this week and they start to digest these numbers. And I do not know how the markets will open in about an hour. Got about an hour and 6 minutes before the American markets do open, so we need to see where that takes us. Futures are up fractionally. It'll tell me here in a second as I watch the screen on the TV. We're up like 120, 140 points, but that could change one way or the other quickly. Bonds are down a little due to stocks are up because there's an inverse correlation. But if stocks go down, bonds will go up. That creates a higher inflation environment. And I keep talking about that 2 to 2.5% inflation or bond rate, which would cause a 3 to potentially 4% inflation rate, which would then drive up all of your loans, borrowing money. And it will make the Fed possibly react to cutting back on tapering, not cutting back, but tapering all this money they're infusing, reducing bonds that they're buying to keep the economy propped up, and injection of liquidity into the markets because they're overheating the markets and they're going to have to stop paying people to stay home. And different things like that. You'll have wage inflation because people aren't going to work, and so they're forcing people to raise their prices to pay people to work, which is causing hyperinflation in commodity markets that they're building. If you're building a product that you're selling to the customer and you have to pay somebody, $5 more, 10 to 15, from maybe you're paying him $10, you have to pay him $15, and you got 50 employees, your prices of these commodities are going to go up. And that is just basic 101 economics here. So I don't know. This is really on the cusp of potential breakout or destruction. It looks to me like it's still basically hemorrhaging down. And for this to change and come up and get through this resistance barrier and all these additional resistance barriers in between here is really asking this a lot to turn around. And so what will happen is one of two things. Okay, so let's go to Bitcoin. We'll go to the 4-hour chart. We'll blow this out a little bit so you can see. Maybe I can go to the day chart, maybe, or let's see, 4 hours, 6 hour. Let's go to the 12-hour chart. Okay, so if we're looking at Bitcoin, you can tell this is bad. All trends are moving down. There's nothing good here. I mean, if you blow this out to a level you can actually understand it. Everybody wants to be in the 1 minute zone, and they think that they can look at this 1 minute zone and get a capture of the whole picture, and that is not how this works. You need to blow this out, go look at the full chart, and you can see how it's moving and then it's crashing. Okay, this is a downward trajectory. For it to change, and I always put it in this perspective. You're in an airplane and you're hitting turbulence, okay? And all of a sudden your airplane takes a nosedive due to major turbulence and you're heading towards the ground. Well, the ground is basically from, well, it's probably a little further down, but let's say from about here to, well, it's not even right here. Let's do this. From about here to here, okay? So let's say you're flying in your plane and you're nose diving to the ground right now on this trajectory. Unless you can pull this up. Now you notice the ground is getting closer all the time. So unless this corrects itself soon, starts to come out of this, move back up, or move back up somehow, follow this line, make another zone down here, and then start coming back up. Or this could just keep going down slowly, not really crash hard. Two options if it does crash is it'll come down and it will crash. it will just fall away from this zone, wherever this zone is, and it will just come down hard. Or it could be like a plane, and it could come down, it could fly, come down, nosedive, and then pull up at the last minute, and then come back up. But it could come down, hit the bottom, and just struggle to bounce off the bottom a few times before it comes back up. So this is what we sort of need to watch, is how this is working, what's happening, how this trajectory is happening, and is it moving up? Maybe. I'm really struggling to see that this is a major correction in this market. Is it layering it up over time? Not really. If you look at this, that's a point, 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 and that's what's giving this structure to this line, okay? But they're not really higher highs, as you can tell. It's all lower lows on both sides here, or higher lows up here and lower lows down here, however you want to look at that. And it's still trying to, now see, it's trying to bust through here. Is it going to continue to move up, or will we move this trench up just a little? And this will have to then finally collapse this line up to this line, which creates a real problem, because now you have two zones of barriers coming together, which is causing massive friction into a downward force, moving this down again. So I don't know. I'm struggling with this chart. I've been struggling with it since May 13th back here, but I've been watching this chart for a while now, trying to decide, what this is going to do. But right as of now, I'm not seeing an improvement here. Little improvement on the bottom. Is it starting to make a turnaround? Mondays have a tendency to sell off stocks and cryptos, so as the market moves up, I'm guessing this will actually blow out a little bit on the bottom here and start moving down again before it potentially could recorrect itself, if it does. When you have this momentum coming straight down in this much time frame, and the volumes and different things that we're looking at, I'm not seeing this improvement. Actually, we could potentially, now that I'm looking at this is Bitcoin. If this standard moving average moves back over this line and crosses, it's probably a death cross again. A death cross basically is when the standard moving average moves over the 50-day average, and then what happens is it will cross like it did up here. If I can find one here, like here. See that? It crossed, and then it moves down because it's called what they call death cross. Okay, and so if this, and it looks like it's heading that way, so I don't see this to be a positive. It's not moving over the the 200-day moving average and some things. It looks to me like it's going to cross over this line here, and if it does that, that is a bearish sign, which means we're going to start to move down again. That in combination with the Monday and the sell-off over the weekend and the market open this morning in about an hour could make this even more bearish, but we will see. This could turn around. Anything's possible. God's in control here. We don't really know where this is going. It looks to me, if you blow this out into a fairly normal chart, we're going to see this still penetrating down, and I don't see it improving, but it's possible. Anyway, just this update, I'm trying to keep you informed. Right now, the markets aren't reacting tremendously to it in the futures. We'll see what happens when the market opens. Please find that open door. Its name is Jesus, the Son of God. You have to find the Son to get to heaven. It tells us clearly in the Bible that the only open door to heaven and through the rapture of the church after the seventh trumpet sounds and the Lord comes back on this planet, that he is the only open door, and without him we can't gain access to heaven and eternity. So you have to find him, and in this time of sorrows and birth pains, you need to find him, because he will give you the comfort and the ability to understand through all the white noise and the chaos what is happening in front of us, and that there is a master plan, and it's just not pure chaos and white noise out here that we're losing our minds, and this is just pure insanity. We need to have structure and understanding here. So please find the open door, and that is Jesus. God bless you, everybody. I will keep updating this throughout the week. I hope it turns around. I'm not hoping for doom and gloom here. I just don't see a very good scenario yet. And until that happens, I'm just going to keep on this and keep posting things. I think we need to understand what's happening here. God bless, and we will see you in the near future. We'll see how the day goes.